Stocks are down. Take a look there as President Trump announces new tariffs, 25% on both Japan and South Korea.
As you see, we have these beautiful letters that the president has signed. This one is to the President of the Republic of Korea.
President Trump's 25% tariffs on Japan and South Korea could spark a new global trade crisis, but Canada's silence may be the real game changer. While the U.S. is pushing its Asian allies away with aggressive tariffs, Canada is quietly taking a different approach, staying calm and focused on strategic moves. What does this mean for the future of global trade? Is Canada's response the key to reshaping the North American economic landscape? Stay tuned as we break down why Canada's strategic patience could turn the tide in this high-stakes trade war. On July 7th, President Trump sent formal letters to Japan and South Korea, warning them of 25% tariffs on all their exports to the United States, set to begin on August 1st.
In every case, they treated us far worse than I'm treating them. I'm treating them very good. I could go higher.
This was more than just a routine policy update. It was a bold move aimed at forcing these countries to open their markets to U.S. goods. The immediate impact was swift and severe. Nissan's stock dropped by 5%. Toyota fell 1.25%, and Honda saw a 1.5% decline. U.S. stock indexes, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500, all dipped about 1%. But this wasn't just about market movements. It was about trust. Trump's unpredictable actions are shaking global confidence, and as these allies face the threat of economic penalties from the very country they've supported for decades, the question arises, can the U.S. maintain reliable alliances when tariffs replace diplomacy? While Trump's tariffs sent shockwaves across the globe, Canada has remained conspicuously silent, choosing a path of calculated restraint. Not included in the latest tariff letters, Canada is deepening trade talks with the U.S. in a quiet but strategic way. Instead of engaging in Trump's high-pressure tactics, Canada is taking a step back, focusing on long-term stability rather than short-term emotional reactions. Prime Minister Mark Carney is leading this charge, emphasizing strategic patience. His approach is grounded in stability, and while the U.S. grapples with trade tensions, Canada is preparing support packages for key sectors like aluminum, which still faces steep U.S. tariffs. By avoiding direct confrontation, Canada is signaling that it's not interested in playing Trump's game of quick wins, but instead is focused on cultivating enduring relationships built on trust and cooperation. President Trump's actions may be playing into China's hands, as Beijing stays patient and strategic, waiting for U.S. alliances to weaken. While Trump escalates tensions with Japan, South Korea, and other trade partners, China isn't rushing to retaliate. Instead, they are calmly biding their time, observing the fallout from Trump's approach. China's diplomatic strategy contrasts sharply with the U.S.'s combative tactics. By maintaining its trade partnerships and focusing on long-term economic growth, China is quietly strengthening its position in global trade. The U.S. risks isolating itself by alienating its allies, while China is positioning itself as the more reliable partner, expanding its influence and gaining ground with countries that feel increasingly uncertain about America's commitment. President Trump's 10% tariff threat on countries aligned with the BRICS group, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is a bold move intended to put pressure on emerging economies. However, this could backfire in ways Trump might not have anticipated. Instead of forcing these countries to fall in line, it risks alienating neutral partners like India and Brazil, who have historically maintained strong economic ties with the U.S. and other major global powers. By threatening tariffs on nations, Trump may unintentionally push countries like India and Brazil closer to China. As Trump's threats grow more sweeping, they could find themselves more aligned with China than ever before, creating a long-term shift in global trade dynamics. What was meant to contain China could end up strengthening its position, further fracturing the relationships the U.S. once held dear. With the July 21st deadline fast approaching, the pressure is mounting for Canada to make a decision. What happens if Canada holds firm? President Trump is now faced with a critical dilemma. Either back down and risk appearing weak, or follow through with punitive tariffs, which could harm U.S. jobs and damage trade relations. Under the calm leadership of Mark Carney, Canada's strategic patience is putting Trump's resolve to the test. While the U.S. demands quick deals and immediate results, Canada is taking the long view, focusing on stability and building lasting relationships rather than caving to short-term pressures. This approach not only strengthens Canada's position, but also sends a clear message to Trump and the world that patience and strategic diplomacy can prevail over the chaos of tariff diplomacy. The political stakes couldn't be higher. Trump, who thrives on quick wins and bold headlines, is being forced to navigate a situation that doesn't fit his usual playbook. Canada's silence and resilience in the face of pressure is challenging the U.S. trade narrative, and the outcome could shape the future of North American trade for years to come. The question remains, will Canada hold the line, or will Trump force a deal? In this high-stakes trade showdown, it's clear that Trump's pressure tactics are clashing with Carney's calm, strategic approach. While Trump leans on aggressive tariffs and fast-track deals, Carney is taking the long road, holding firm and focusing on stability, rather than rushing into a deal. The big question, which approach will ultimately win? As the July 21st deadline looms, the tension continues to build. Will Canada hold the line, resisting Trump's demands, or will Trump push through and force a deal? Stay tuned to see how this battle of wills unfolds and what it means for the future of North American trade.